Okay, let's see if I can get a quick little run through for the PEMDAS real quick. Because, yeah, just a quick run through. So, life is an equation. I feel like we were taught everything that we needed to know from jump. Before we got out here in these streets doing things on ourselves, and we asking like, why they didn't teach us this, that, and the third? Like, it seemed like the stuff they were teaching us in school is not the stuff we needed for life for real, okay? Now, what if I told you that the reason we look at it like that is because we look at things from only a physical place. Now, we like to give so much respect to God, but never look at things from a God place, a God aspect, which is the spiritual aspect, the spiritual point of view. If we only look at things from a physical point of view, we will always miss what God's saying and only hear what man's saying. That's what I'm trying to say. Are you listening to God? Are you listening to man? This world is a testing place for you. Are you in cahoots with, not the devil per se, but are you in cahoots with the distraction? The things that keep you away from your creator? Okay? Now, let's get back to math. Let's get back to PEMDAS. Now, like I said, we were taught everything. We just got to look at it from a higher perspective and not a lower perspective. Looking at it from just an equation and how to deal with numbers that ain't got nothing to do with you. Figuring out equations that don't got nothing to do with you. It doesn't apply to your life. That's how you know you're doing things backwards. That's how we know they taught us the equation, but we're not even doing the equation right in our own lives. Okay? And that's what I meant by the people teaching us these things are teaching with deaf ears and broken tongues. As in, how do we know they're... I feel like the only people who should be teaching us are people who is connected to the Most High, who's connected to the Creator. Because if not, what are you teaching us to do? What are you guiding us? What type of guide are you? What type of shepherd are you? Are you a shepherd at all? Are you playing pretend? So the energy is definitely turning up. The word is coming out of us, okay? Coming out and through the things that we've all been through together, interacted with together. God is talking to us through everything at all times, okay? So getting back to the equation. PEMDAS, let's get back to how do we handle... So life is an equation, right? If they teaching us how to use this sequence to handle equations, like I said, if we're using this to get answers to numbers and situations that have nothing to do with us, then we're walking backwards somehow, some way, some shape, somehow. Yeah. However, if we were using it to apply it to our actual life, then it will feel of substance. Now, everything is of substance. God doesn't waste no time. No, nothing is wasted. But God hates waste. Okay? So, when you keep that in mind, you realize there's a message and a word in everything for us. Now, I'm going to just go. PEMDAS, parentheses, exponent, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. When you do things the right way, you end up with the right value at the end of the day. Parentheses. You start off with what's inside first. What's inside? Your soul, your spirit, who you are first. If you spend so much time outside, if you handle what's outside first, you don't even know how to handle it. Because is it you handling it? Or have you even taken the time to know how to handle it before? You got to start from the inside first, right? Then exponent, to the power of, to the power of. I just got the thought evolve, but to the power of. Who? Right now, you, to the power of the Creator, to the power of God, who He has, the seed He planted in you to be, to the power of that. But then again, He gave you free will. It gave you free will. Thee gave you us free will. So it's actually to the power of what you choose it to be. To the power of whatever sin, to the power of whatever virtue. That simple. Multiplied by, depending on how attached you are emotionally to those sins or those virtues. Multiply to that extent. And when you get overly emotional, you divide. However, that divide is beneficial. You know how they say life, we on earth to It's a lesson. Like, God is teaching us a lesson. People love to say that, but nobody love to see the lesson or take the time to recognize the lesson. They just do lollygagging. I don't like to play around like I don't know what's going on. It makes me feel fake. I'm not fake. Ew. And I'm not a gatekeeper. So if I'm coming into awareness, I am not allowing myself to be as distracted. I am not allowing myself to be attached and I receive code that I'm going to deliver. And if you have the space and the time for yourself, you will sit and listen to these codes. But baby, ain't nobody gonna beg you to. Because we all were given PEMDAS. We all were given the same things. Just, it's not on you that you wasn't taught how. You gotta look at things from a spiritual view first before you deal with it physically. So back to the PEMDAS, right? Parentheses, you deal with what's on the inside, multiplied to the power of your free will. X to the power of whatever you choose, multiplied by your emotions, divided by, that thing trying to follow me. Add, and then you add back what is of substance. Because once you divide it, you know to add, you can take back, bring back into your field what is worthy, and you subtract the dead weight. Now, like I said, if you're going backwards, you're doing shit backwards, okay? So, when I put the word backwards, I get sad, me, P, okay? The P is at the end. The protector is at the end. You, what's inside, your real true self is at the end of everything. Like, it's like saying you come last. So it starts off, when you got it backwards, starts off with S. Subtract. So first thing we do is subtract from the equation. So life is the equation, right? First thing we do is subtract. What are we subtracting? You're subtracting you. They're subtracting you from who you are first. So it's like tearing apart a machine, tearing apart something to build what you want to build with it, right? Then they add. When we go in reverse, you subtract and then you add. So you subtract and then you add what to God's creation? What are you adding to me? What if you subtract me from myself? You remove me from who I'm supposed to be. And then you try to add. What are you doing? What are you doing? Divide. You divide that, divide you against yourself, divide you from your creator, divide you from each other. You start acting like you better than, less than, more than, equal to. Like, that division, that Cain energy is taking over. Wow. Multiplied. So now when you're divided and those emotions of you being divided from yourself, you're not even able to be who you are truly, down to earth, who you really are. That irritation of having to fit the mold. Multiplied. Imagine those emotions now, multiplied. You tearing yourself apart. Ugh. To the power of who? To the power of who now? You're not with yourself no more. You don't even remember who you are. You haven't even taken the time to be inside yet. So who power are you in? The governments? Who have you given your power to? Who's taking your power? Who have you given authority to? The only person that has authority is the Most High. And God's given you authority. Remember. And last but not least, P. You got your protector. You got what's inside at the end of the equation when you're walking backwards. Your protector, you see him, you see it, you see thee last. But if only you learn to see thee first, then you will be protected from these forces that try to have you walking backwards into a hole. When I say a holy place, I mean there's traps set up for you, but you must have discernment to know, to perceive, to reflect, to deflect, to ascend. To get up, to sit up, to walk around. See the equation. Life is the equation. And we were taught how to do it correctly. But learn to look at it from your spiritual eye. Listen with your spiritual ears. Not, you put all your faith in man. Come on now. God is always with us. Never forget that. Hope you receive the message, the code,